You hear the crack before you feel the pain. One step lands badly, your body twists, and suddenly the leg beneath you is no longer a leg you can trust. You try to stand. It folds. The sun is dropping, water is downhill, and the safety of camp is farther away than you can crawl. Somewhere beyond the grass, something large moves and then goes quiet. For an injured person thousands of years ago, the broken bone was only the first problem. The fracture could stop you from reaching water. It could leave you exposed to cold, predators, or another fall. If the skin was torn, infection could begin. Even if it stayed closed, every desperate movement could shift the break again. That makes the evidence inside ancient skeletons deeply strange. Some contain fractures that did not happen around the time of death. The bone had time to form a callus, bridge the damage, and remodel. The person survived not just the accident, but the days and weeks after it. How? The easiest answer is that ancient humans were tougher. But toughness cannot carry water while you are unable to walk. It cannot move a camp around you, keep watch while you sleep, or stop two broken ends of bone from grinding every time you crawl. Pain tolerance might get someone through one terrifying night. Healing requires the same problem to be solved again tomorrow, and the day after that. Bone record's part of that story. When a fracture begins healing, the body builds a temporary bridge around the break. Over time, that rough repair can become stronger and smoother. Archaeologists can sometimes see that process long after the person is gone. They may see that a bone healed crooked, that a joint changed, or that an injury left permanent weakness. But the bone does not preserve a name beside the wound. It does not tell us who brought food, whether a relative stayed nearby, or whether help came from affection, obligation, or simple self-interest. A healed fracture proves survival. The details of care have to be inferred carefully. One of the most famous reminders comes from Shanidar Cave in what is now Iraq. Shanidar I was an older Neanderthal who lived with several serious impairments. His right arm had been badly damaged and wasted away. Other injuries affected his movement, and changes inside his ears suggest substantial hearing loss. These were not problems that disappeared after a single lucky night. He survived with them long enough for his body to adapt and age. Shanidar I is sometimes turned into a simple story about compassion. The real evidence is more interesting because it is less certain. His skeleton shows a person who remained alive despite major limitations. It cannot show us a particular caregiver, a spoken promise, or an exact treatment. Yet it forces a practical question. How does someone with those limitations obtain enough food, avoid danger, and keep moving with a group? And Shanidar I is not the only reason researchers ask that question. Reviews of Neanderthal remains describe a broader pattern of people recovering from serious trauma or surviving with long-term impairment. Far earlier, at Dmanisi in Georgia, early humans survived extreme tooth loss and heavy dental disease. Tooth loss is not a broken bone, and it does not prove that anyone prepared special meals. It does show how deep in human history survival could continue after the body stopped working in the ordinary way. Now the answer begins to take shape. A severe fracture did not require an ancient operating room. It required a chain of smaller problems to be solved in the right order. First, the injured limb had to suffer less movement, not more. A branch, hide wrap, or padded support could have helped stabilize it, although a simple possibility is not proof that a particular prehistoric person wore a splint. Then, the injured person needed water and calories delivered to them. They needed shelter from weather, protection from animals and rivals, and enough time for the body to do the slow work of repair. If the break was open, badly displaced, or accompanied by major bleeding, none of this guaranteed survival. Many people must have died. Others probably healed with shortened limbs, bent joints, chronic pain, or reduced strength. Ancient care was not magic. It changed the odds. The most important tool may not have been the branch beside the leg. It may have been another person's time. Someone had to make an extra water trip. Someone had to share food. Someone had to slow down, alter a route, maintain a safer camp, or guard a person who could not run. That help was costly, but dangerous lives made injury a shared risk. The hunter carrying food today could be the injured person tomorrow. Researchers describe this as risk pooling. A group spreads the cost of bad luck across many people, just as it does when members share food, hunt together, or care for children. That does not make care cold or calculated. It also does not prove every act was compassionate. Human motives have probably always been mixed. Affection, duty, reputation, reciprocity, and survival can all point in the same direction. What matters is that cooperation could keep one damaged body alive long enough for biology to finish what it had started. Modern medicine surrounds that old process with powerful new layers. An ambulance moves you. Imaging reveals the break. A surgeon can align bone. Antibiotics can fight infection. And a cast can hold everything still. But even now, recovery is not only a device wrapped around a limb. Someone covers the work you cannot do. Someone brings food, drives, waits, watches, or simply makes sure you are not alone when moving hurts. Return to that first night. The person on the ground looks like evidence of weakness. One failed step, one useless leg. One body suddenly unable to meet the world by itself. But when archaeologists find that same injury healed, the meaning reverses. The fracture is not proof that ancient life was gentle. It is proof that vulnerability was sometimes survivable. The person who could not walk alone became evidence that the group did not survive alone either. A healed bone is not just the story of one body repairing itself. It is the trace of times someone else helped that body survive. What other ancient survival problems should the human backstory explore next?
Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe.